watching the American Conference on ESPN. Welcome to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Today, the 5-1 Mississippi State Bulldogs out of the SEC make the trip to New Orleans, historic Devlin Fieldhouse, to take on the 6-1 Tulane Green Wave. Hi everybody, Tim Grubbs joined here with 26-year veteran coach Houston Fancher and former head coach at Appalachian State. And coach, we got a contrast in play here today. Tulane is led by its trio of guards. Meanwhile, Mississippi State, its outstanding front court.
But just like you say, I think it'll be a very intriguing matchup. The guards of Tulane against the length and power of Mississippi State. Can Tulane rebound the basketball inside against Mississippi State and their power guys? And can Mississippi State guard Tulane in their intricate offense in the half court?
For Mississippi State, their head coach Rick Ray says their go-to guy, junior Travis Daniels.
Really like Travis Daniels, very skilled basketball player. He's a guy that I think does a lot of things for them. He shoots the ball well from the perimeter. He's got terrific length. Coach Ray feels like he's a guy who has to step up if he wants Mississippi State to be an elite level team in the SEC.
Meanwhile, for Tulane, they're led by Lewis Dabney, their leading scorer. He also leads a team in steals.
Lewis Dabney does a lot for this basketball team. He's a leader for them on the floor. He's a leader for them off the floor. He scores, rebounds, defends, sells popcorn at halftime, does a tremendous amount of things for this Tulane basketball team. A leader for Coach Ed Conroy.
Hey, get a look at Coach Rick Ray getting ready for today's contest. He's in his third season at the helm of the Mississippi State Bulldogs in their lineup. Bloodman, Thomas, Daniels, Raquez Johnson, and Gavin Ware could be a big impact here this afternoon. Meanwhile, across the way for Tulane out of the American, 6-1. They've won 6 in a row, led by their trio of guards that average about 35 points a game between the three of them. Stark, Dabney, and Hook. Underneath, Dry had a big day the other day against Loyola of Chicago and Ryan Smith. Our officials, Steve Olson, Ted Valentine, and Mark Whitehead. Getting you set for tip on a Saturday afternoon, uptown New Orleans. First time ever a basketball game and a football game on the campus of Tulane University. That's an interesting tidbit. Houston Fancher is, they just built that on-campus football stadium, and they'll be kicking off tonight against the Temple Owls at 6 o'clock. And we got ourselves what should be a great matchup here this afternoon.
Well, it's a beautiful day outside. The weather is fantastic, 75 and sunny here in New Orleans, but it's about to get heated up in here with Mississippi State and Tulane about to tip it off.
Gavin Ware, Ryan Smith tipped, and Tulane will control. Jonathan Stark, freshman All-American a year ago. He runs the offense for Tulane. Stark picks it out. They like the three to the Green Wave. Hook elects not to take it here in the early going.
Now the question is going to be, how are they going to defend? How much switching? How are they going to defend ball screens? Use their length to their advantage here in the half court.
Dabney, and we've got a turnover. Now Mississippi State, they bring some athletes coming in out of the SEC, and you mentioned in the open, they got a little length. Could be difficult for Tulane to match up.
It will, because of the switches and because of the length. They can really keep the basketball in front of them, force them to score over the top, and then they're out rebounding their opponents by 12 a game.
Bloodman nearly turns it over. The ball ends up in the hands of Thomas. Thomas from 15, no go. Offensive rebound, Mississippi State. There's that size. They crash the offensive boards.
That's going to be a big key to this game. Plus, offensively for Mississippi State, their shot selection is going to be huge.
Daniels for three, no good. They do not take a whole lot of threes. Stark pushing it up the floor for the Wave. Dry kicks it back out for Hook. Top of the key, buries it from downtown.
Jay Hook is known as a shooter. He was a standstill shooter last year, more of a standstill shooter, a two-guard who's learned to put the ball on the ground a little bit better, try to complete his game.
Thomas into the corner for Trevante Bloodman for Ware, and we get a shove and a foul. I believe it'll go against Tulane. It'll go against Ryan Smith.
It will, and they've got to make sure, Tim, that they do a good job of protecting the paint, not just from pass to catch in the block, but off the bounce as well. You got to keep the ball out of the paint, and they attack that way, and people turned their ball to the head, lost their guys, and got called for a foul.
Well, for Mississippi State to win, you know, we had a good conversation with Coach Rick Ray yesterday, and they're going to pound it in the paint here today with Gavin Ware. Absolutely, and he's a guy they got to look to go to early. Do you see they're dribble driving the basketball right now? And there's our guy right there, right off the top. Pretty shot for Travis Daniels, the junior. He had a career-best 21 points earlier this year against St. Louis. He was 4 or 5 from the three-point line in that game as well, Tim. He can shoot the basketball. He's got great length. He's a guy that Coach Ray thinks eventually could be an all-SEC-type player. There's Trey Dry coming off of an outstanding game up in Chicago back on Wednesday. Tulane getting its first road win of the year on Wednesday. Mississippi State looking for their first road win since January of 2013, and we got a shot clock violation. 2 really good defensive possessions for Mississippi State to start the game off here. As you said, really alert, not allowing back cuts. They're communicating off screens. They're switching when necessary, but they're keeping the ball out on the perimeter. Tulane by 1 early. Here comes the Bulldog offense, Trevante Bloodman. He's running the point here in the early part of the season for State, and they force a turnover. Well, there's a perfect example, and we've seen on tape here this year that Gavin will catch the ball with his back to the goal, doesn't really get a pivot foot established. He ends up moving both of them before he puts the ball on the ground. Credit Ryan Smith with that defensive play. These guys have been aggressive early here today, and there's an over and back. Coach Ray said that they will trap or press and trap after every make that they can, and they want to trap downhill. That was a perfect example of them trapping downhill. They're not going to come where you can see the trap. They'll try to come from behind. They got Stark off balance. He tossed the ball back court. So we've seen some early turnovers. That's already the 3rd turnover of the day for Tulane. Team that normally protects the ball well. Ware is fouled in the paint. We also early on right there, Tim, saw how Tulane and Ed Conway plan to guard the paint. They're going to double down on the catch just as they did right there. Immediately when Ware catches, they came with another defender and then zoned up off of him. Jay Hook whistled for the foul. 3-2 Tulane, as here it is off the baseline. Ware, he goes to work here and misfires on the shot. Stark in the corner for Dabney. Outlet. Smith, see what Tulane can do in the paint here, and Ryan Smith gets a bucket. You know, they attacked the zone well that time, as you saw. You know, out of a miss, once we said Mississippi State drops back into a zone out of a miss. Tulane really stayed on the attack that time, just like Coach Conway talked about in practice last night. Ball movement here for Raquez Johnson. Shot no good. He had a rough game in their loss last Sunday down in Corpus Christi, Texas against TCU. Raquez is more of a driver, more of a rim attacker, an athlete. Shoots a high percentage, but those shots usually come going to the rim. Yeah, he's a guy that gets a lot of points, averaging a dozen a game, and he had just 2 in that one. Travis Daniels making those look good again, Tim, off the tip right there. Another beautiful play by Travis, getting the ball in the basket. And we got contact and an offensive foul. 16-10 remaining in the opening half, and that's already 2 personals against Jay Hook. Jay tried to attack the rim right here. Gavin Ware did a great job of setting himself, drawing the charge right there. You know, Jay got his first one off the double team down low. Now he gets a second one off a charge. Force him to go to that bench. Coach Conroy is okay with playing a number of guards here, but Jay Hook's a guy they're certainly going to miss. Yeah, he's a guy that scores he's dangerous from three-point land. Had 15 the other day. They're going to go to Kajon Mack, redshirt sophomore. Dribble drive, no good. Dabney off the miss. Well, Dabney does it all, as you mentioned. Can contribute. They can switch in positions, and just a hustler out there on the floor. Right, right. And, you know, Coach Ray really gave us some good advice last night on why he goes to zones out of misses. He feels like, you know, teams don't necessarily attack in transition if they see you set in the zone after a miss. There's a turnover there, and now he turns it right back. Stark with the layup, couldn't connect. Slippery floor, and we got got a Mississippi State timeout. Well, he was about to turn it over. And a good call right in front of the state bench.
It was a good call, and once again, that was where the length gave Stark a problem. He wanted to attack the rim. He saw Indoor waiting for him there at the basket, decided, changed his shot, got it off, wasn't able to finish like he normally does around the rim. So the length comes into play here early on.
Here's a look at Dabney, and you get to see the turnover here after the flop.
Absolutely, and it's a team that's really got great length. We can't emphasize that enough. Here you'll see him change his shot because he sees Indoor there waiting on him. And now all of a sudden the ball's on the floor. Fred Thomas makes a veteran move here, gets a timeout in front of their own bench as opposed to giving up possession here. So really like how alert Mississippi State is defensively right now. I think they're in tune to the game plan. The coaches have them well prepared. Tulane's really patient on the offensive end, trying to get the shots they want. It's been that's a deliberacy that Coach Conroy has always coached with. Two very good basketball coaches. It'll be a great chess match today, Tim.
Not a ton of scoring early, but man, has the pace been up-tempo. Both teams run, really trying to keep it going.
Seems what might be a conference game for these two guys right now, by the way it's going.
Well, they have met 94 meetings between these two schools. That's kind of a slanted stat. They used to be conference foes back in the old days in the SEC. This is just the 6th meeting since 1966, and Mississippi State has won all 6 of them in that stretch. Shot for 3, buries it.
Once again, that's created by the double down on Gavin Ware. They got a post touch, came to double, slow rotating over to Thomas there on the 3.
They had 14 in their loss to TCU, his first 3 of the day. Dejan Mack back to Dabney for 3. Found the shot he liked. No good, and a whistle and a foul. So we have got our first break in the action. Mississippi State with good ball movement, and Fred Thomas gives the Bulldogs the early advantage. Anything you want to touch on out of the break?
We have a stat sheet by any chance? Where are we at rebounding right now?
Tulane with 5 turnovers, State with 2 turnovers.
What about the rebounding?
Rebounding is Tulane with 3, State with 3. No.
Okay. There we go. Here's our stats. Thank you.
Actually 4 and 3.
Okay. Now that turnover is going to be big because Mississippi State's usually one that turns it over a lot. I think it's uncharacteristic that Tulane's at 86 to 97 on assist turnover ratio.
Tulane Green Wave 7-5 as Mississippi State 3 for their first 8 shooting, Tulane 2 for their first 5.
I think one thing we're going to have to look at here, Tim, is who protects the basketball. Mississippi State has got off to a slow start with 60 assists and 91 turnovers on the season, but today the turnovers are in favor of them. Tulane's already turned it over 5 times, which they can't afford to do. They can't afford to lose possessions turning the basketball over.
A Tulane team that turns it over about 13 times a game have turned it over 5 times here in the first 5+ minutes. So a little different pace so far today.
Here we go with our chess match, Tim. Coach Ed Conroy comes out of the timeout and goes to his pressure right here. Try to change the tempo, try to throw Mississippi State off balance a little bit.
A couple of substitutions for both teams as here's the 7-footer Indoy coming in for State. Meanwhile, the freshman Osetkowski coming in, as well as Peyton Henson for Tulane. Shot for 3 as the shot clock expires. No good, but a whistle and a foul.
Tulane making an extreme effort here to put bodies on bodies here once the shot goes up. I mean, whether it's two hands in the chest or a back to a front, they're doing a great job of making initial contact and then chasing rebounds.
Travis Daniels whistled for the over the back. Here comes Stark, shadowed by I.J. Reddy. State's got some depth. That's been their biggest problem, Coach. As you know, you take a look over the years, the last 2 years, they've only had five or six scholarship guys. They now have some more guys to go to.
They do, and there's a big three right there by our guy Dabney off the penetrating pitch. But Coach Ray said one of the things he's most pleased with, he can actually use the bench as a motivator. He's never been able to do that because 8 guys knew they were going to play.
Reddy, a very good ball handler. He's had a back injury earlier this season. He's running the O now. Also coming in a moment ago was Demetrius Houston. There's Houston at top of the key. Works it in, and Osetkowski gets a hand at it, knocks it out. Just 5 on the shot clock here to work with.
Got to make sure we get a quick early touch, maybe into a quick ball screen. But they're going to have to be able to get their shot off quickly to see what they got from the side bounds with 5 to go. It's early in the season. Have we covered this in situational play yet, Tim? Not sure about that.
They're going to switch it up. I.J. Reddy to inbound into that corner. Now for Thomas. Reddy off the inbounds, gets it, misses, and it'll be a shot clock. No, it went out of bounds off at Tulane. It should be a shot clock violation, and indeed it is. They're going to overrule the call.
Great call right there, Mark Whitehead. He and Teddy got together on that one and decided it was a shot clock violation. Did occur before the basketball went out of bounds, so that was the right call here.
Well, even if it didn't, they would have had no chance of getting a shot off.
No question. No question. It was over with. And Tulane deserved it. Great defense by Tulane.
Stark pressured as he brings it up. Little alley-oop. Osetkowski couldn't handle it. And now Tulane turns it over. Reddy pushing it up the floor against Dabney. And he sends it home. Raquez Johnson, the senior, puts State back on top.
It's safe to say that I.J. is ready.
Yes, he is.
Great defensive play right there, and a self-defense pass back to Raquez Johnson for the slam. So I.J. made a great defensive play there that led to their break and their dunk. Take a look on the film right here. See how Stark tries to get the ball a little bit too deep, got it up too high for Osetkowski to handle, throws it back out. I.J. runs right in the passing lane. He's going to go, and as I said, a self-defense assist right here. Had nowhere to go, found Raquez sprinting the floor for the jam.
Well, I.J. Reddy, as we mentioned, has been slowed by injuries. He has only played about 18 minutes a game so far this season, but they expect his playing time to really increase.
They do, and once they get, coming off that back injury, the same one that Chicken Sword has, who probably won't play today, it's good to see him back out on the floor and in mobile condition again.
Sword was their leading scorer a year ago, the guy that led them with 13 points a game. How ironic, 2 of their guards, 2 of their best returning guys, back injury, same injury, and both have been limited early this season.
They have, and they say I.J. recovered a little bit quicker from his than Chicken Sword did, but then Chicken Sword also has been out with flu-like, strep throat-like symptoms this week, so we don't know if we'll have a chance to see him today or not. Coach Ray wasn't really sure, didn't feel good about him playing today.
Yeah, if we do see him, it will be very limited. So Mack set to inbound, and he goes long down the floor, and it's out of bounds. Thomas, very aggressive there on the D. Really
aggressive, and we talked to Coach about this last night too, Tim. They'll defend underneath out of bounds with a zone, and they won't guard the inbounder. So it's really 5-on-4. It's difficult to enter the basket against them. They want you to throw it deep against their defense in the half court.
That's really an interesting take, not, because you get the extra guy and you can double cover.
Well, there's a couple of different things that Coach Ray does differently than your normal prototypical half-court defense. That's one of them.
Reynolds gets fouled. Oh, they're going to call goaltending. Cameron Reynolds count the bucket.
I think that ball got off the glass, and they came and got it with 2 hands. Great call by Mark Whitehead there.
So it was Demetrius Houston swatted it away. So count the bucket. Tulane back up again. Ready to Houston. Gavin Ware from outside, and shot no good. Pinckney pushing it up the floor for Tulane. Peyton Henson misfires from 3. Offensive rebound by Osetkowski, and he'll go to the line here in a moment.
Well, if you're Tulane, you got to love the way they're competing on the defensive end. They're patient on the offensive end. An offensive rebound here in the half court. So you understand that Tulane, if they're going to compete, they're going to have to continue to neutralize things in the paint. They're up 1 right now going into break.
Mississippi State 4 of 12.
And they're generally shoot what, 47? One of them shoots 47, one of them shoots 49. Which one is it?
State is
47.
47.
Tulane 49.
Tulane is 49.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we've had a close one early today. The lead has changed 4 different times with Tulane on top by a point, 10-9.
I think Tulane defensively, Tim, has done a good job of trying to keep the ball out of the paint. You know, Ed Conroy's come in with a good game plan. 4 of their 12 shots have been 3 so far as Mississippi State, which is what Coach Conroy wanted to try to get them to beat them over the top and then clean up on the glass, and they're out rebounding them right now as well. Tulane is 6-4.
Osetkowski connects 8 of 12 on the season from the free throw line for the freshman. And he connects on both. Tulane extending an advantage to 3, and here comes some more pressure. Ready to Bloodman, and they push it across the floor.
Mississippi State's gone with 2 point guards here, playing Reddy and Bloodman together in the backcourt instead of run off some of this pressure that Tulane's thrown at them.
They had some turnover issues this year. Some of the stats are a little bit exaggerated after a bad day against Mississippi Valley State. When you turn it over 26 times in a game, that kind of skews the number for the first early part of the year.
It takes a little while to recover from that, doesn't it, when you turn it over 26 times. Here's what Tulane cannot allow to happen. Late in the shot clock, they can't allow deep touches for Gavin Ware because he will punish them down there if he's able to catch the ball that deep. They stayed behind. You see Osetkowski's got a forearm in his back. Ware catches it and completely takes him to the rim. And here got a chance for the conventional 3-point play.
19 of 23 from the free throw line this season, and Ware connects. Gavin Ware's first points of the day. He's their leading rebounder. He also is a major threat inside with 13 blocks. And Tulane's going to turn it over. Kajon Mack getting picked, and the ball went out of bounds off of Mack.
He just over-dribbled the basketball that time. If he picks it up, finds his partner. Tulane spent an inordinate amount of time working against this pressure in practice last night. They know what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to over-dribble the basketball. You beat it with passes, not off the bounce.
Des Johnson. Push it back around, and Johnson's going to shake open on the baseline, and he lays it up and in. So State back on top. Pinckney, the freshman, getting a lot of playing time. Running the offense here. Both teams are using a lot of players early in this contest as we go back and forth. Pinckney shot short, no good. Here comes State running the floor. Bloodman. And a turnover.
Yep. Great call. Teddy missed that one. You know, you'll see right now Mississippi State, too, they, during this last little exchange, had veterans on the floor. Tulane had a lot of young kids on the floor. They took advantage of them on 2 straight possessions to get 5 points on the board before they could get a sub back in. Now they come back in with Dabney, an experienced guard on the perimeter to help them take care of the basketball.
So Mack checks out. Pinckney pushing it up the floor for Lou Dabney. You talked about it yesterday, this offense of Tulane, a little bit more unconventional than the normal offense, and Dylan Osetkowski with the follow-up.
What a lift he's given them here early on, Tim, in this basketball game. That's 2 big offensive rebounds. He converted either to a foul or to a bucket right there. That's huge, probably unexpected pleasure for Tulane.
We were wondering how the forwards for Tulane would stack up. Shot no good. Raquez Johnson bucket will count, and he'll go to the line on a 3-point play opportunity.
It's a battle of offensive rebounds. On one end, you know, a bucket for Tulane offensive glass, and watch Tulane converge on the ball right here. That's gang rebounding. They're rebounding with a passion, with a purpose, and immediately going right back to the rim. They don't waste time with it. They're going right back up on the goal, draw another opportunity for a 3-point play, which is a huge part of Mississippi State's offense.
Johnson, not a very good free throw shooter, 13 of 23 on the season. State by 2. Stark in trouble here, and it's going to be a 10-second violation.
Tulane stayed back and expected Stark to get the basketball to him. Once he started his retreat dribble, they got to close up that distance. They can't stand back there and expect him to be able to deliver the pass, and he wasn't. They sent him back 3 seconds. Shot clock goal. I mean, the half-court violation is called here correctly in the half-court.
Yeah, he heaved it up. It got over, but you have to catch it before that 10 seconds, and there it is. Another Tulane turnover. Johnson. Sword just checked in a moment ago, and here comes Dabney after the ball deflected. Little 2-on-2, and Dabney goes, misses, nice save, and Lewis Dabney, another chance, couldn't finish, but he's fouled. Gavin Ware going to be whistled, and that'll be his second.
Gotta love the effort by Tulane here. Missed opportunities. Dabney goes in. I thought he got fouled right there. There was no call. Ryan Smith, a great offensive rebound effort. Dabney with the easiest shot he's going to have all night long. Doesn't finish, but they still competed for the basketball. They assumed it was going to be missed.
I guess he was not in the act of shooting, so it'll be baseline inbounds.
I think it was on the rebound. Let's take a look here, if we can, Tim, how Mississippi State guards on it. They won't guard the inbounder here. They'll stay off the inbounder and play 5-on-4, try to force you to throw the ball deep, which they're going to end up doing.
Get it in for Smith. Fresh shot clock here for Tulane. Here's Stark. Dribble drive, pull up, shot no good, and State comes away with it in a foul.
Stark's move was the first penetrating move they had in that possession. Every other pass just went around the perimeter, and if they're going to be able to penetrate this zone, they're going to have to do it off the bounce, and somebody's going to have to establish an inside presence for Tulane. You don't have to catch it and score, but you got to be an inside receiver so you can break the zone down a little bit. They can catch the ball in the mid-post, in the short corner, but you can't just continue to rotate the ball around the perimeter. Stark broke them down off the bounce. Just got ready, got a big rebound, and got fouled.
Already the 7th team foul, and Reddy connects. 5 of 7 on the year from the line. He hits both. State's got its largest lead of the day at 4.
Big possession here for Tulane. They got to make sure this thing doesn't get out of reach here early on. They want to continue to be patient on the offensive end, make Mississippi State be a half-court defensive team here.
There's Cam Reynolds. Works underneath. Dabney. That was a great look and a great move by the junior Lou Dabney.
No matter how many times you say, watch the back door, inevitably people are going to get caught with their heads turned, and that happened. Lou Dabney's a veteran player. Beautiful passing cut. Terrific execution by Tulane.
State back on offense. Raquez Johnson over to Thomas. And a turnover. Nope, saved it into the corner. Peyton Henson gets a hand in a face, deflects it away. There's been some passes deflected. These defenses have been intense as Dabney gets another. He's got 7 here in the early going.
He's the junkyard dog for the Green Wave. He gets a lot of things done for him. Beautiful drive and a finish. That's back-to-back buckets for him.
You said it, junkyard dog. He does it all for Tulane. Near steal there, and Dabney was a part of it. Ready for 3, no good. And look, Dabney on the rebound there. He didn't get it, but he had a hand on it.
Absolutely. If he's not making a play, he's allowing somebody else to make a play.
3 ball, misfires. Reynolds with the rebound. No, ball got knocked away back into the hands of State.
The junkyard dog got out of the cage on that shot. I'm not sure that's what Ed Conroy was looking for on that one.
Yeah, that was well beyond the 3-point arc. IJ ready. Into traffic here. 14 on the shot clock. They're get it back out. Near steal there as Daniels will get fouled.
Unfortunately here with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Once again, a good possession. I think the tempo of the game favors Tulane right now because of where they have it. They're forced it to be a half-court game. Wonderful execution right here. Ed Conroy, a staple of his offense, has been the backdoor cut. You'll see a dribble out backdoor right here. Defender turns his head, Reddy loses him. Dabney catches and finishes. But once again, the tempo, I think, is favoring Tulane right now. We're tied up going into the break. Be interested to see how they return.
Conroy did not like that call.
No.
I didn't get a good look, but
hard to see if it was all ball, if he got his wrist.
It was right in front of him.
I've been doing this for 26 years, and I've always been amazed, and when I go to games, go to high school, they can always find the worst shooters to participate in these contests. Yeah. It's like they don't want to give the things away, so they find the worst shooters in the gym, and they never have to give anything away. I think that's a stroke of marketing genius.
Plus, it's comedy when you see someone out there taking horrible shots.
That's part of it, too. Okay. He's got 8.
Well, we got ourselves a tie game here as Tulane and Mississippi State battling, and Coach, the early here has been the turnovers.
Well, you know, you got 8 turnovers right now by Tulane, and coming into the game, you're a little bit more concerned about Mississippi State's ability to handle the ball. Some of these are unforced, just bad decisions, maybe an over dribble here or there. You know, Reddy runs through the passing lane and creates an opportunity for a slam here for Mississippi State. So they've got to make sure they protect the ball in the full court and in a half court so they don't lead to runouts for Mississippi State. Every possession is vital for them. You know, they're shooting at 40% right now. They're out rebounding Mississippi State. So they're doing the things they got to do right now to win the basketball game. They just got to protect the basketball.
Yeah, that's been a little bit of a surprise storyline, is the rebounding by Tulane. They've really stepped it up, even though they're outsized a little bit by this Mississippi State team.
There's been a big emphasis by Coach Conroy all week long about how good a rebounding team this Mississippi State team was, and with good virtue. They're out-rebounding their opponents by 12 a game, but right now the competitive nature of Tulane is what's getting the rebounds for them. They want the boards just a little bit more on both the offensive and the defensive end. They've already pulled down 4 offensive boards.
Daniels connects from the free throw line as we've got another lead change, the 6th of the day. He connects on both. So Mississippi State by a bucket. Stark pushing it across the timeline at midcourt.
I really like how Mississippi State mixes up the pressure. You know, it keeps you guessing whether it's zone or it's come back to a trap. but you know they make you think every time down the basketball floor. You can't really get dialed in on what you want to do offensively.
And you saw it there when Stark came across midcourt. Tulane, the other guards were coming out thinking they needed to help him. Meanwhile, State didn't bring anything.
It's a chess match going on here.
5 on the shot clock. Stark forces it. It's short, and it'll be a shot clock violation.
You know, you can choose to think bad offense. I choose to think great defense. I think Mississippi State's doing a great job of bottling them up, keeping the ball in front of them. Forced an incredibly tough shot by Stark right there. Finished with a box out. Let's go the other way and see if we can make something happen in the half court for Mississippi State.
Ready, bringing it up the floor for Bloodman. Well, they've ran those 2 point guards out there quite a bit early in this ball game for Mississippi State, and Reddy connects for his first bucket of the afternoon from the corner.
Reddy shoots an unbelievably high percentage for a point guard from the floor. And it's because he takes shots he can make. He's not a three-point shooter, but he shoots a terrific percentage from the floor. I think here early on, so he's a guy that they got to look to go to offensively.
Well, Coach Ray really stressing shot selection by the Bulldogs, and Ryan Smith gets an easy shot underneath.
If you get a shot that easy, Mississippi State's going to the bench. I think the next dead ball will hear a horn. Somebody's coming out off a defensive blown assignment there.
Well, there's already 2 guys heading to the table.
There you go.
Didn't take you long. State back up by a bucket. Bloodman dribble drive, and he gets the roll. Trevante Bloodman.
Bloodman's the one I meant to say shoots a high percentage. He shoots 63% from the field right now, not I.J. Reddy. It's because, once again, he takes the shots he can make. Don't show me what you cannot do. Show me what you can do.
And Bloodman, not a true point guard, but he's had to fill in because of Sword and Reddy being limited early this season.
Exactly. Now they can guard the position. They're just not guys that really necessarily run a team.
Yeah, they're not their best ball handlers, and Stark connects. Jonathan Stark with his first 3.
His first clean look of the night. Steps up and knocked it down like a veteran. Had an unbelievable freshman year. College Insiders All-American last year. Had a super freshman season.
And he comes away with the steal there. Actually, Dabney took it away for Cameron Reynolds. Stark, dribble drive, and he couldn't finish. Well, and then there's the foul by Tulane.
Unfortunate right there. A terrific defensive play. Stark makes a play, made a terrific move, just didn't finish there. And that's the type of foul that you can't make 94 feet away from the basket if you're Ryan Smith. You got to make a better decision. You see here in the half court, Stark's first open look at the basket. Good ball movement, an assist leading to a basket, which Tulane is known for. That's 6 assists on 8 baskets right now for Tulane.
So head to the line here will be Travis Daniels. It was the 9th team foul here in the opening half, whistled against Tulane.
Coach Ray knew this was going to be a big challenge guarding this Tulane offense because, as he said, majority of the teams you have to work on guarding ball screens. You know, they're set 80% of the time with most people you play. Tulane, not as much. They're more of a screen away from the ball, back cut, take advantage of you on defensive mistakes. So it was going to be a challenge for his young team to be able to defend this green wave team.
Another missed free throw by Mississippi State. Tulane back on the offensive end. Back out for Pinckney. Now to Lou Dabney with 10 on the shot clock. Couldn't connect. State racing it up the floor. Thomas for 3. Shot no good. Rebound State underneath, and a follow-up by Travis Daniels.
Poor job on the glass right there. Go back and take a look. They just did a poor job. There was some pushing and shoving going on inside. Lost balance, and another guy rebounded. Offensive rebounding is a skill because it takes energy, it takes effort, but also you got to know where to position yourself. The majority of the rebounds come off on the weak side. Mississippi State took advantage of that right there. A poor box-out job you'll see here on the second shot here. It came off to the weak side. Pushing matches going on, but again, it's gang rebounding, chasing offensive rebounds, and you see this great finish here for Mississippi State.
Pinkney bringing it up the floor for Tulane. Keith Pinkney brings it up the floor for Tulane. All you did was miss him bringing it up the floor. Nothing else missed. Dabney underneath. And double dribble, turned it over.
Very good basketball call right there by Mark Whitehead. He caught it inside the lane, put it down on the ground. They thought he got it knocked loose, but actually it was just the turnover.
So now we will have the media timeout here at Devlin Fieldhouse. Mississippi State leading the Tulane Green Wave here with 3 minutes exact to play. State by 3. Mississippi State by 3 here with 3 minutes to go in this one. Happy holidays. He has made his way to New Orleans.
My kids are going to be so thrilled to know I saw Santa Claus down in New Orleans and had the chance to speak with him. That's going to be fantastic. They're going to love that. No, I've had a first-hand encounter with the man himself.
State won for its first 6 from three-point land, and they're a team that last in the SEC in attempting threes. You don't expect them to shoot from three-point land. Attempted 6 already in this one.
Well, Coach Ray said they don't necessarily have to. They want to be down there because they're not supposed to be shooting. They're supposed to be pounding the ball around the rim, getting drives and touches in the paint.
Henson gets the loose ball, picks it up for Stark. Drive and the shot, and that is Keyshawn Mack.
That's something that Coach Ray will be displeased with, basically because they're back in the zone after that miss. You should not allow layups. Obviously, in your zone, and your coverage and pickup should be a lot higher and deeper than it was.
Ludman back atop. Tulane back down by 1. Houston slipped there, no call. He's the freshman from Montgomery, Alabama. They got 3 guys that all played at the same high school in Montgomery.
They really do. It's incredible pipeline for them.
Shot clock violation, no. Got it off just in time as you're talking Houston, the freshman, also Craig Sword, who's a junior, and then the third one of the group, Raquez Johnson.
He did, and I think they've even got a new signee this year from Carver High School, too. So it's been a great place to go get basketball players, even before Coach Ray came around. A big contingent of Alabama players on this Mississippi State roster anyway.
State by a point. Minute 50 to go here in the half. Stark pushing it up the floor for Tulane. Underneath, Trey Dry. Good hesitant, couldn't finish. Dry connected on all 7 of his field goals the other day in Chicago against Loyola.
Well, if you'll take a look, the rotation helped by Bloodman got there late. He's got to be there to guard the drive, guard the roll off the screen and roll. He's there late, as you see. Doesn't give Ndoye a chance to recover back. He was late on the coverage, hence a free throw for 2 free throw opportunities for Dry. Which should have been a 3-point play. You got to go finish those things. That's opportunities in a game like this when it's possession by possession by possession. It's half-court games. You've got opportunities to finish plays around the bucket. You've got to convert.
Dry a little undersized for his position, but really has stepped it up as he's going to connect. Nope, 1 of 2 from the line, but a big offensive rebound there. Stark thought about it, now goes back underneath for Trey Dry. Dry goes back to work. Another loose ball, this time the Bulldogs come away with it. Back and forth as Daniels looks underneath for Rockets. Johnson couldn't finish. A lot of contact. Dabney looked like he had a hand in his face. No call. And now you get the call the other way, and Stark will go to the line.
Now, you don't refer to those as makeup calls. It was just another foul. That was a foul under the basket, no call. They did call the foul. That wasn't a makeup call. It was just the right call on this end. They did pass on one down there. And they're pushing the tempo now offensively because they're rebounding the basketball. You know, they did a great job of setting them up on the inside right there. Rockets Johnson has just once again got to convert plays around the rim because shots are hard to come by in this game.
Stark connects from the free throw line. His 4th point of the afternoon.
What a great pickup Jonathan Stark was for Tulane to get him out of Mumford, Tennessee. You know, originally had signed and committed to play at UT Chattanooga out of high school. There was a coaching change there and ended up relocating down here in Tulane. And Coach Conroy's got to be thrilled to have this guy running the point for him in the next couple of years.
Had an outstanding year last year. And originally, you didn't think he was going to get all that many minutes, but they had a few transfers, and all of a sudden, he's inserted into the starting lineup and had a fantastic freshman year.
Absolutely.
And now we get some miscommunication on the inbounds here. Peyton Henson took that one off his head.
You got to take your time inbounding the ball. Good move by Mississippi State not to get in a rush, inbounding the ball against the pressure here. Give you a chance to set your offensive attack.
Pressure here by Tulane. They'll back off after the inbounds as pushing it up the floor is Daniels. Tulane back on top with a minute to go in the half. Loose ball out of bounds remains with State.
And it's been a little bit of a struggle without Gavin Ware in the lineup with two fouls. They've not been able to establish any inside presence. You know, Rockets Johnson had an opportunity around the rim, but they got to find a way to get the ball to the glass here.
Bloodman gets it in for the freshman Oliver Black. Underneath, shot no good. And, you know, State's had a lot of opportunities underneath, just can't finish.
You're right, and that's what they're trying to get. That's a shot they'll take all day long. You got Oliver Black on the push on the inside right there. They've got to convert those things around the rim. Any shot you're getting, a terrific job right there by Dry, just being big, extending his arms, and a great box out on the backside there. Just a terrific job of effort and execution of focus and engagement by Tulane right now.
We're going to take a look at the replay, maybe. No. So Tulane will go to the line here. And
we'll be making sure of who the foul call was actually on.
Oh, there was a flash photography.
You may not have caught that, Tim. Somebody was trying to get a shot of me over here on the sideline, and the officials nabbed him. I mean, paparazzi's been a problem my whole life. So, I mean, here we are again. I'm in New Orleans. I thought I was incognito, but there they go again with those cameras. So we got to get them out of here. Sorry, guys.
Hey, when I think of who the paparazzi follows, I think Kardashians and you, Coach.
You don't think me, actually not.
Well, that can be a distraction, so that's what the delay was out. Tulane misfires on the free throw. So State back on the offensive end late here in the half. Daniels from the corner. Rims in and out. The rim has not been kind here for Mississippi State.
No, very nice shot. Like you said, we'll take that all day long if I'm Travis Daniels and Rick Ray. That's a shot he can make and needs to make for Mississippi State.
Bulldogs 10 for 24 here in the half. Shot clock is off. Tulane will hold for one final shot, up by a bucket. Dabney goes to work, lost it, and here comes State running the break. Trevante Bloodman, Daniels cannot finish. And we will go to the break. No whistles, no foul. It is halftime. A very sloppy way to end our first intermission, which was a very up-tempo pace.
Very competitive first half. I can't wait for this thing to start up the second half. I can't wait to see who's going to come out of the locker room, make changes, make adjustments, get Gavin Ware back on the floor for Mississippi State, see who can respond here in the second half in this big matchup between the American Athletic and the Southeastern Conference.
Not originally, but I've lived here 13 years. This is my home. So I know a lot about the university and stuff. There's your homestead. How are you? Good to see you. Good. And then we need to get the cable behind you so you don't have wires.
All right.
There you go.
Perfect.
But yeah, we can talk tennis. Uh-oh. Now, I do watch like Wimbledon and U.S. Open and stuff.
Okay.
So I know a little bit.
So who's your favorite female athlete on the women's side? Give me somebody.
Oh, I do. I'm Sharapova.
Okay. Of course. Of course you're going to say Sharapova.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was about to screw up her name, and then I was like, no, Maria Sharapova.
You're right. You're dead on. Yeah.
I'm on. Of course. Although there's a lot of very attractive female tennis players.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the biggest person you've ever interviewed, most famous?
I'll have to give it some thought.
Anybody that you're like a little bit starstruck by or no?
Nolan Ryan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, I'm jealous. I'm very jealous, yeah. So you do this all day, every day?
What's that? Well, we have had an exciting first half here in Uptown New Orleans. Tulane is out in front of Mississippi State by a bucket, 28-26. Hi, everybody. Tim Grubbs here, courtside, along with the head women's tennis coach, Terry Sisk, here in her 7th season with the Tulane Green Wave. And Coach Terry, just wrapped up your fall, and what a tremendous finish up the road in your hometown, right? Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Absolutely.
An all-Tulane final, and that's a great way to finish up the fall season.
Absolutely. You know, we wanted to go there and do a really good job, and the girls did an amazing job. And it's, you know, being the last tournament of the fall, you want to see kind of how you developed over the fall. And the girls, I mean, how can you get any better than that? All Tulane final. So it was just kind of nice to sit back and enjoy that.
In the fall, that's just a tune-up to get ready for the real season, which gets going in January. And your team has been a little depleted over the last couple of years, but now you got a full complement and ready to go here for the season.
You know, we're really excited about it, Tim. It's been, you know, a couple of years ago we got up to the top 40 of the country, so we knew we were gaining steam, getting really, really strong. And then, you know, we had a little bit of a rough luck last year, losing some players, have some injuries and whatnot. So, you know, this fall with so many new freshmen and you know, so many returning players, I mean, I'm just thrilled, and I know what the future is going to be. And I think the best part about it is the girls know what the future is going to be. So it's fun.
It's fun, yeah. You get going early January.
Yes.
And it's when you take a look at your schedule, it gets grueling right off the bat with teams like Akron and Penn State right out of the chute.
Absolutely. You know, both of those teams are really strong. They're really strong. You know, they have a lot of international girls, so, you know, you never really know what you're going into. And then, you know, right after that, we get into SEC play. Like a lot of teams, SEC back-to-back. So, I mean, we got to be ready. We got to be ready to roll.
Got to be ready.
I'm not worried about it.
And then a brand new conference too to go along with that when you wrap it up in the American.
Yes, and we're excited about being in the American. It's from a women's tennis standpoint, it's very strong. So we got to put our big girl panties on and go. So it's going to be great. I'm really excited about it.
Well, Coach, thanks for spending some time with us. It's been a lot of fun.
Tim. Thank you so much.
Certainly, best of luck to you, and best of luck with the season right after the holidays.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, we got much more still to come here from Devlin Fieldhouse. Tulane with the 2-point halftime advantage. All right.
Tennis it is. It's your first tennis interview.
Okay. Welcome back to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Courtside here at Tulane as the Tulane Green Wave have a 2-point advantage over Mississippi State, a 28-26 ball game as it has been an exciting first half of play here. And Coach, you've coached in this game a long time, 26 years, and Coach Valvano has done so much for cancer research. And just tell us what that means to you as you take a look at the stats and the numbers of what this foundation has done since 1993. It's very impressive.
It's incredible what he's done, and what a great legacy he leaves behind. Who cannot go back and watch that speech in 1993 and get chill bumps every time you see it? The passion he came with. You can see right here all of the numbers that, the second most common cause of death in the U.S. and the number of money that has been raised and supported and developed to research and cure this dreaded disease. But just so many things that he brings to the table here back in the day. That speech that he did just brings tears to your eyes just about every time you see it. Founded back in 1993, as you see, and more than 130 million in cancer research is incredible. And we can every day, everybody can step forward and say, there's somebody in my life that has been affected by this dreaded disease, whether it's you or a loved one or a friend, any family member. But you can still log on to www.jimmyv.org to donate or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to make a donation. And I encourage you to certainly do so.
Yeah, as you mentioned, everyone has been affected by this in some way. So everyone at ESPN, this has been an annual event this week, and we're certainly hoping that everybody contributes and continues to raise money for the Jimmy V Foundation. We got first half stats, highlights, and much more from New Orleans as Tulane has the halftime advantage up by a bucket. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we do stats and highlights.
Okay. Yeah, Travis Daniels. Made us look good early. So did Dabney early.
Yep.
He's got 8 and 6. Dabney's got 7 and 3. They're coming through for us. They're the 2 lead scorers right now on their respective teams. Okay.
Tulane Green Wave leading Mississippi State by a bucket here at the intermission. The Tulane Green Wave and Mississippi State have combined 14 different guys have scored already in this ball game, and it's been an exciting contest.
It has been really intense, and you just love the competitive nature of both teams. You can tell both teams are really prepared for each other. It's become a half-court game, which favors Tulane, in my opinion, but you've got to convert plays around the basket.
Travis Daniels has really stepped up for Mississippi State. As we talked about in the first half, he would be a big factor in this ball game.
Well, you look really smart on this one, Tim. Called Travis Daniels and Lewis Dabney, but he's a complete package right here. Travis Daniels is. He can score off the bounce. He's leading them in scoring right now and rebounding. The guy that Coach Ray mentioned has got to really come through for him. You see him here on the offensive glass getting the finish, but a really talented basketball player. He can do things on both ends of the floor.
Meanwhile, for Tulane, it's been the Green Wave. They've turned it over a few times and haven't shot the best in the first half, but Lewis Dabney and company have led the way for the Green Wave.
They've got 10 baskets from 8 assists, which is, as we said earlier, that's Coach Conroy for you. He creates with his offense. You see a beautiful backdoor cut by Dabney right here, but uncharacteristically, like you say, they've turned the ball over 11 times. You know, just thinking they've got those possessions to try to score with, you know, where this league could be right now as opposed to turning the basketball over.
Meanwhile, Tulane has hit 3 of 7 from three-point land. You take a look at the stats overall. Shooting hasn't been great for either team. Mississippi State 39%, Tulane 42%.
And that's a reflection of the defense and the game preparation by the coaches, if you ask me, because they're, you know, from a scouting report, they both have a good idea of where they're trying to go offensively, defensively. The stats are pretty relative, I think, to the score of the game right now. You know, there's not many field goal attempts, there's not many finishes, but it's going to be a matter of who can come out and who makes adjustments at the halftime and can come out and take advantage of the early first 4 minutes of the second half.
So it's Tulane leading here by a bucket. We are set. We return. We're ready for a fun second half from New Orleans. Gotcha. You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. Uptown New Orleans, the Tulane Green Wave leading the Bulldogs of Mississippi State out of the SEC by a bucket, 28-26. Tim Grubbs along with Houston Fancher, 26-year coaching veteran. And Coach, what would you have said to your team at halftime for either side after this first half, which was a high-paced ball game?
If I'm Mississippi State, I've got to establish the inside right away. And give me a chance to give an answer before you throw it inside. They're trying to establish inside and got to get the ball game going up and down the floor a little bit. If you're Tulane, you want to maintain, make them play in a half court, keep your offensive system in place, be patient offensively. We'll take some shots late in the shot clock, make them guard for 33 seconds.
Well, you named Lewis Dabney as a key for Tulane, and he had himself a very good first half with 7 points and almost connected there if he misses.
Needed to be on cue for us right there.
Yeah.
Evidently Lewis didn't hear us over here.
Would have made us sound good. Trevante Bloodman, dribble drive. Nice stuff by Ryan Smith, and here comes Tulane the other way. And I like how these teams they're always getting a hand in there, just trying to force the turnover. Dabney, this time, couldn't go. Smith shot, no go. That was the rim that State had in the first half, and they had a lot of shots I thought they should have connected that just somehow, some way, just wouldn't go. The rim was not kind.
I saw them make some adjustments on the backboard here on the other end during halftime. Maybe they were supposed to take the lid off this end, but a terrific penetrating pitch by Jay Hook right there that led to a wide open three. And you can tell right away here that Ryan Smith could play a big impact in this game if he'll play up to his 6'11" frame.
Tulane running it early, and just a minute into the second half, Mississippi State's going to use a quick timeout. Tulane by a bucket.
Quick TO.
Yeah, that was quick. He didn't like what he saw.
I like the way they guarded at first possession, did he? Love that toe.
Last time Coach Rick Ray was in the city of New Orleans was in a very exciting time for him. He was at the Final Four here in 2012, interviewed with the folks at Mississippi State, ultimately landed the job as head coach for the Bulldogs. Former assistant at Clemson and Purdue.
He hit the jackpot without even having to go to the casino. Rick Ray did here in New Orleans, but I love the way he's building his program in Starkville. He's got to have people excited about the way they're continuing to grow now that he has a deeper bench and some people he can go to as far as subs are concerned.
5-1 on the young season. His team down by 3 here with a lot of basketball to play here in the second half. Ware from the corner buries it.
And let's credit Rick Ray for that right there. In that timeout, he knew what he wanted to go to offensively. Gavin Ware can face up and shoot the basketball. They used him to ball screen. He picked and separated, got him a wide open pick-and-pop jump shot for Mississippi State. A big basket for the Bulldogs.
Just 7 minutes in the first half for Gavin Ware because of foul trouble. Stark on the baseline, lays it up and in.
There's that back door he was concerned about in practice last night.
They're going right back to the well underneath with Ware. And he's going to get a shot off, and a foul.
Just like we talked about a minute ago, it's a 2-point game for Mississippi State in terms of they've got to get 2-point baskets. Here's another great job. Bloodman loses his guy, and Stark takes him back door on the baseline, just like we saw Dabney do in the first half. A big part of their offense. I love what Coach Ray does right here on the free throw line. Where he's shooting his free throws, he takes time with his other 4 right now to let him know what he wants to do defensively. Gets him back in on the second free throw. It's once again another innovative thought by Coach Ray that he's picked up a lot of things from coaches he's worked with. He said Royce Waltman was one of the best minds he ever worked with at Indiana State, and a guy he learned a lot from, like you say, including Matt Painter and Brad Brownell.
Gives your club a bonus timeout, and then they immediately move right into some pressure for Stark, bringing it up the floor. Daphne. Back for Trey Dry as they work it around the perimeter. Now Hook. He didn't play much in the first half, and he is heated up quickly.
He has. He made a 3 early, but then he got those 2 early fouls and had to be sent to the bench. But it's good to see him have his stroke. He's a guy that they feel can make it every time he shoots it.
Averaging a dozen a game. He played just 4 minutes in the first half.
The big fella's starting to eat down low now, Tim. They're going to him every time, but here's Hook again on transition.
And couldn't get it as it goes up and over the structure. Yeah, Gavin Ware hasn't played a whole lot of minutes, but they're feeding him, and he's got 9 already.
They can't stop defending the way they defended in the first half, and credit Coach Ray here. They're feeding the basketball from the top as opposed to the side where it's harder to double from, so they were able to get him one-on-one play on the last possession.
Well, we were looking at the halftime stats. Points in the paint were even between Tulane and Mississippi State. That was a little alarming because we figured that was going to be Mississippi State's bread and butter here this afternoon.
Also a result of some offensive rebounds that Tulane got that we didn't expect as well.
Bloodman, no go. Trey Dry, physical, gets the rebound for Tulane and out to Stark. That Hook was going to crank it up again. No, Stark. Some strong rims as those balls are going up, and that one almost nearly went over the structure again.
You'd love to see those shots fall if you're those guys, but Coach Conroy, I'm not sure he wants 3s that early in the possession. Now, they were good looks. Stark was a little bit deep. Hook made a patient play, but you got to make sure you keep your game plan intact if you're Tulane.
You do get an extra opportunity here as the ball went off the Bulldogs. Stark looking underneath, a little no-look pass there, almost confused Dabney, and you're going to have a 3-second violation.
Dabney met the trees down there. He caught that ball down in the jungle amidst a bunch of trees down there. Should have kicked it back out as soon as he saw Ware and Daniels converging on it.
Good defense by Mississippi State, and they've got a chance to tie the ball game here. Bloodman. To Fred Thomas, now to Raquez Johnson. Works it around, shot from the corner, well short, off the head of Trey Dry, and it ricochets into the hand of Stark. Dry, shot blocked, and there's that athletic of Mississippi State.
Gavin Ware with a great recovery right there to send that shot back the other way.
Thomas for 3, no go, and Cook with the rebound. Another block, and it's going to be out of bounds. It'll remain Tulane ball, and man, the athletes of Mississippi State getting in there and blocking some shots early here in the second half. Tulane holding on, leading 34-32.
You hear it.
Oh. All right. was in that corner.
Yeah.
I knew it was in a corner. I was like,
that's where he was sitting down on the end, seemed down on the end. The Jolly one.
Well, both teams not shooting well in the second half.
Here's the surprise of the game right here.
Yeah. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town, and he's already here at Devlin Fieldhouse, hanging with the Tulane cheerleaders.
I like his green accents below his suit there. And I guess if you're the Jolly one, what would you ask for Christmas other than to be in the middle of the Tulane cheerleaders here?
Tulane by a bucket. The Green Wave 2 for their first 8 here in the second half. Mississippi State 2 for their first 6. Stark from the corner, shot no go, and it's rebounded by State.
Not a bad shot for Stark right there. Terrific move off the bounce, just didn't finish.
Ware from way outside. You don't expect him to make that shot or take that shot, and it missed, but it remains with the Bulldogs.
Well, I think he's a guy that can make that 15-footer in half-court offense. In transition, trailing off the break, not as much, but you know, he feels good about it. They've gone to him early. They want to get him established, so they're going to let him take some shots. Need him to.
And now we got a foul. Ware is connected on 3 of 6 shots here in this ball game, and there's a foul against State, so that'll give the ball back to Tulane.
Well, they got Indoy leaning in. They tried to set a double staggered on the baseline, and Indoy leaned in as Dabney tried to get around the screen.
So here comes Stark. Peyton Henson into Osetkowski, and they get Kajon Mack. Found the look, and he lays it up and in.
Beautiful execution. They went to the high post. Everybody stared at the block except for Kajon Mack. He drove to the rim. Beautiful pass and assist to a bucket.
Daniels, well, you talked about it earlier, this Tulane offense, a little unconventional and something that State hasn't seen this year, and it's those types of plays that can catch you off guard. Stark, what's he gonna do for 3? Bangs it home, he was on the line. It's a 2-pointer.
It was under control. Once again, Tulane ends up, for the most part, taking the shots they want to take, and that's key to a team that shoots a high percentage.
Well, Mississippi State don't want to fall further behind here. You're down by 6 here. It's Tulane's largest lead of the afternoon. Daniels from 15, and he gets the roll.
Guy's a player.
Stepped up at a big moment there. State a little slow on getting back. Hook will take the 3. This time it's from downtown. Jay Hook.
Coming out of a make right there. Tulane advanced the ball with a pass. They took 1 dribble, and they're shooting a 3 in a matter of about 3 seconds. Mississippi State slow to respond in transition defense.
Yeah, they were slow on the defensive end, and it cost them dearly on the last 2 trips. Crowd getting into it. Ball knocked away, and it remains with State, and there's going to be a foul.
Now the key is, can Mississippi State remain patient in their half-court offense, take care of the basketball? A close turnover right there for Mississippi State. Ended up Daniels got it back and was fouled by Tulane going for the basketball. Tulane is a hard team to come from behind on because of how patient they are on the offensive end. You'll see here Stark under control, steps back. Nobody finds him. He did have his toe on the line, but still an under control 3 by Tulane. A lot of the 3s you'll see them take will be a result of penetrating pitch, off of ball screens where the weak side comes to help, or in transition where nobody picks up.
Just 3 timeouts remaining for Mississippi State. Coach Ray elects not to use one there, as you feel like Tulane on a little roll here, and Mississippi State needs to answer, and they do.
Well, I think he was wise there, Tim, because the dead ball gives your team a chance to sort of regroup and recover, take a deep breath. Let's execute here on the half court. Credit Reddy with a beautiful play.
That was a huge bucket, back to a 5-point ball game. Reynolds goes back to work. Cameron Reynolds, that's his first bucket of the day.
Well, let's take a look here, too. They've gone small, and it's a hard pickup for Mississippi State here on the defensive end. Reynolds took a bigger black to the hole that time and converted.
Underneath. Gavin Ware went to the bench a moment ago. He's getting a breather.
It won't be long.
No, you would think you can't keep him on the bench too long.
He'll probably come back in at the break.
Daniels gets fouled.
We'll have to go back and look at that one. I'm not sure we got much on that foul, but we have the benefit of replay. They don't.
Right. That's the one thing about these officials. They're watching this thing at full speed.
I think if they had their choice, they'd come over here and sit and call the game, because I think they could see, as well as we can, that there wasn't much there other than the hand on the ball right there. But they're entitled to a miss here or there.
Yep. Daniels connects on the first. So Travis Daniels. He's got 9. Make that 8. 9. Now.
That was a premonition you had. You
well,
just knew
maybe.
it was going in. Yeah.
He is not the greatest of free throw shooters, but he connects on both there. He will take a seat here at the 12:52 mark. Well, right now, you got to try to get guys some minutes, give them a breather. Critical point in the ball game, and we're going to have a state foul over there in the corner.
Having coached against Ed Conroy's teams in the past, this is where it becomes difficult to play against them, because, regardless of what the score is down the stretch, if you're behind, they're hard to recover from because of the way they're patient offensively, and they make you guard their stuff throughout the course of 40 minutes.
Inbounds here for Reynolds. Of course, you were the head coach at Appalachian State for a long time and matched up against Coach Conroy, who was at the Citadel. And Reynolds with the garbage bucket, but it's a big one.
This offense also gets you out of position defensively, which means it gets you out of position for defensive rebounding, and Tulane is capitalizing on that, crushing them on the boards.
Gavin Ware shot no good, and a follow-up. Ndoye just popped it up, and with volleyball playing the hip.
That was an excuse me tip right there by Black, I believe.
Pinckney couldn't get it to go, and now at the 12-minute mark, big rebound by Fred Thomas.
Well, that's inexperience by Pinckney right there. I don't think that's what Coach Conroy would want. He would want him to be patient in the half court, get the shot they want, not put the ball back in the Bulldogs' hands.
And there's near a steal by Thomas, and he's going to get the timeout. Does he get it? He does. So another wise play.
There's the second one he's called right in front of the bench. If we go back to the first half, he had another one falling on a loose ball there and saved the possession. But just great effort by Fred Thomas here. That's one of the things Coach talked about Fred Thomas is he's learning now what's a good shot. Last year he was forced to take a bunch of tough shots. He always plays a great effort. He felt like he's an all-SEC defensive type of player, and you saw there with a great kick away, fell on the basketball, call a quick timeout to save a possession for the Bulldogs.
Fred Thomas has 14 or more points this season in 5 of the 6 games. He has just 3 so far in this one. Still plenty of time, but he's been one of their big scorers.
Well, you're right, and I think that's Coach Ray feels like he knows it going into the game, that he can count on points, and for Thomas, he can count on points and rebounds from Ware. Raquez Johnson's been a little bit quiet tonight, relatively speaking. That's why we felt like, Daniels was the guy who had to step forward to be that guy that would sort of alleviate them to being a good basketball team. You got to have that extra guy when you got guys that can count that are going to fill in. I.J. Reddy's giving them some good minutes tonight, but he can be able to play this bench and feel comfortable going 9 or 10 deep if he's got guys that are going to be productive on the offensive end.
11:46 to go. The next stoppage in play, we will have a media timeout. So not a bad time to put guys down on the bench like Travis Daniels right now just to get a quick breather, assuming it will not be a long time before we have another stoppage.
Absolutely.
Ready to Bloodman, trying to post up Gavin Ware. Shot for 3, and that one's off the mark. But here comes the presence of Gavin Ware. Offensive rebound and a follow-up.
Well, I think Houston took a shot there he wasn't necessarily supposed to. He's more of an athlete and decided to throw the 3 up there. And sort of Gavin Ware knew better than anybody that it was going to be a miss. So he went and got it and put it back in.
And there's a foul. Going to be against State. And it's going to go against Raquez Johnson. That'll be his first. We've got a break. Has Tulane up by 3, but watch your buddy Gavin Ware going to work.
Like I said, he knew as well as anybody it was going to be a miss, so he chased the basketball down, went up and got the finish. He's eating down low, the big fellow is. This is so typical.
11-12 to go in this one. Tulane with a 3-point advantage. Mississippi State 16 of 41, including 6 of 15 here in the second half.
I think the difference is right now, as you look at the stats, is, you know, out of those made field goals, Tulane's got 17 makes. Mississippi State has 16, but 5 of those are threes, and what they're shooting from the three-point line, I think, is where the difference is in a game so far for Tulane to have their advantage. Also, I can't go a possession without saying how impressed you got to be with Tulane, the way they're rebounding the basketball against this Mississippi State attack, who is vaunted, you know, has vaunted rebounders on the inside with Gavin Ware and Raquez Johnson and Houston and that athletic bunch. Tulane really battling for the glass.
Officials are looking at that last play right before the media timeout. And I don't think we're going to have any changes, it doesn't appear, but they did take a look at it.
Not really sure what the issue is with. We'll say, you know, we'll take a look at it here. They wanted to look at the trip and foul to see. I don't think that's anything other than incidental contact. I mean, they may have looked like he threw him down if you're on the Tulane bench there, but I don't think that's anything. We don't need to spend much more time with this, Teddy. Let's go on. Let's play ball. We don't need to interrupt this game. This is a good basketball game. Two teams really trying to compete. It's a big win for either team if Tulane's able to get a win like this at home. If Mississippi State's able to go on the road and win their first true road game, it's a feather in the cap of Mississippi State and the progress of their program as well. But two teams fighting it out possession for possession in a very, very competitive basketball game in a good environment. Our football crowd started to fill in here a little bit, so it really gets loud in Devlin when they start to fill it up. And Ed Conroy deserves the support of this community. He's worked hard to build this program, and going into this American Athletic Conference, there will be some good teams coming in here this year. I hope the community of New Orleans jumps in here and gets behind this program.
Tulane has won 6 of its first 7, but he said yesterday that this would be a big win because it's against an SEC team. They struggled in their only other game this year against a big conference team and lost their opening game of the year against ACC foe Wake Forest.
Great execution right there out of a timeout. Jay Hook with a wide open look off a double staggered elevator play on the side and just wasn't able to finish it.
Near turnover there, and it is picked. Combination of Stark and Hook. Hook to Stark, and now they'll slow it down. Smart move here.
Great decision.
It was a 2-on-3 there.
It was, and Ed said we never want to stay off the attack. We want to stay on the attack if we can. Another good look for Stark there. 2 good looks, back-to-back threes within the confines of their offense. They've got to be able to convert those.
Raquez Johnson, and now we've got a foul down in the paint. Starting to get a little chippy here between these two teams as we head down the stretch.
Well, Trey Dry thought he was the second one to deliver a blow right there. The official saw it differently.
4th team foul. And the second on Dry. 10:29 remaining, and
they got to get the towel out. Somebody made it to the floor right there.
Well, we've seen a couple guys slip back in the first half, so you want to make sure you don't get anybody hurt.
Absolutely. There'll be some humidity down here in Tulane today. You don't see that in December very often.
No, not in most of the country.
No, you don't. You don't see that where I live right now.
Tulane plays football later tonight, and it doesn't look like December weather out there, as temperatures are in the mid-70s right now.
Beautiful outside. It's heated up in here.
Absolutely. Shot from the corner, no good. Trey Dry.
You know, even though Gavin Ware can make that shot, if you're Ed Conroy, I'd much rather him take a 15 or 18-footer than I would a 2-footer around the rim. So they'll live with that one if you're Tulane on the defensive end.
Jay Hook. Stark, and it's going to be waved off. Foul before the shot attempt.
We've got Bloodman putting 2 hands on Stark coming off the ball screen. One thing that goes unnoticed, unmentioned, is how good of a screener Ryan Smith is. Whether it's on the ball screen, he's a big screener. In their half-court offense, he's a great back screener. You know, that's a very important position if you're a part of Ed Conroy's offense.
Smith's really developed as a player. He's got 5 points today as there's a trap in the corner, and Coach Conroy using one of those wise timeouts. Every possession counts late in this ball game. Still got 10 minutes to go, but he had 4 timeouts to work with. You know,
the majority of the timeouts have been called tonight, except for maybe the one at the end of the first half or beginning of the second half, has been to save a possession. There's been 2 for Mississippi State. There's been 1 for Tulane, and that's a sign of a well-coached basketball team. You know, if you got to use those, you don't want to use them. You know, go back to old school. You want to have those things at the end, but you also want to maintain your possession if you can.
There's the resume of head coach Ed Conroy, and you were there when he was the Southern Conference Coach of the Year back in 08-09.
Eddie did a great job at Citadel. As always, you know, historically it's been a challenge to get good players at Citadel, but he recruited hard. He developed a team. It was a hard team to beat. They executed just like this Tulane team. They had a guard named Cameron Wells, who was a first-team All-League player at Citadel. So he did a terrific job at Charleston. He's earned his opportunity to be here at Tulane and to lead this program into the American Athletic Conference.
I said you were there. You were in the Southern Conference as you were in beautiful Boone, North Carolina.
Absolutely.
At the helm of the Mountaineers.
God's country up in Boone. Back in the zone here now.
Smith looks underneath, and outlet here for Stark.
But there was an inside touch. You know, they want Ryan Smith to catch the ball at the mid-post, not the high post. They got the mid-post and the short corner covered here offensively. Ryan Smith's got to flash in. That's where they want to get their touches against his zone.
6 on the shot clock. Stark trying to go to work here. He's from way outside. It does touch the iron, but the rebound belongs to State.
Credit Rick Ray, we're going to the zone right there out of that timeout as well.
A little different look, confused Tulane. Here's Thomas in traffic. Gonna get his follow-up, and he does. Freddie Thomas.
Taking advantage of it. Length and athleticism. He's the second one off the floor, the quickest one off the floor after the miss. Finished his own shot.
Mississippi State continues to chip away. Tulane extended a 7-point lead here in the second half. It's down to 1 here with 9 to go.
Got to maintain composure if you're Tulane. Mississippi State's went on a big run to get this thing back in contention here with a 1-point deficit, like you said. Got to execute your stuff. Got to maintain your game plan. Got to continue to beat Tulane.
9 on the shot clock. Stark into the corner. Hook for 3, and he couldn't get it to go.
Now that's 3 threes. If we take a look at here in the second half, they had wide open looks. If they're able to step up and knock those down, it's a different basketball game right now.
Tulane off the miss by Thomas.
If I'm Mississippi State, I got to keep attacking the rim. I got to keep going at the goal and not rely on shooting the ball from the perimeter.
No, because they have not shot well from three-point land at all. And there's an offensive foul on the charge. Trey Dry got there, and Coach, always one of the most difficult calls to make as an official.
It is, and it's, you know, more of them are blocks nowadays than there are charges. But if a guy's waiting for you when you take off a half court like Raquez Johnson did, and Trey Dry waited for him until he got there, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, as was made right there.
Big play there by Dry.
I don't know how many times a block charge has been redefined, but it's still not been defined where it's readable by officials right now because it's just inconsistent on the call. You know, the majority of them end up being blocks, and the way I addressed it last year, that would have been a block if they used it like they addressed it last year. That would have been a block.
Dabney. It's so difficult for the officials because
It really is. It's a tough call. It really is.
I felt like after looking at the replay there that he probably got it right. And I can see the argument either way.
Good defensive possession by Mississippi State. They tried to go backdoor on him a couple times. Mississippi State guarded it very well.
And there's contact, and the ball went out of bounds. It will remain Tulane ball, but they'll have just one on the shot clock.
To their benefit, they'll have this timeout right here to set up something with 1 second to go.
So it's Tulane. Lewis Dabney and company hanging in there, leading Mississippi State by a point. .7:44 to go in this one. Devlin Fieldhouse. First of 2 games on campus today, and said it earlier, for the first time ever, basketball and football both on campus. Of course, the football stadium opened this year. Across campus, they get set to take on Temple. 1 second on the shot clock. Got it in, nice play, couldn't finish.
Did a great job of spacing their zone there.
Out of bounds, it will be Tulane ball.
Well, those become painful when you get an opportunity like that around the rim. If you're Bloodman, you got to finish those layups there to give yourself a lead and try to build on what you're doing here defensively.
Tulane has led since the 143 mark in the first half, so they've led all second half. The margin is slim, a 1-point advantage. Hook, 3. Jay Hook.
Beautiful execution assist leads to another basket. A terrific down screen by Peyton Henson. The free hook for the wide open look. That's his 4th 3 of the evening.
4 of 7 from 3-point land. Johnson goes to work, and Raquez Johnson, the senior, gets another bucket. He's got 8.
There's the difference. It's the 2s versus the 3s, and if they can guard the 3-point line, if you're Mississippi State, but Tulane has got to make sure they keep that basketball out of the paint. That was the question from the very beginning. Could they guard the paint?
Tulane has held their own in the paint today. Been outscored 22-20. That's very close when we thought it might be really lopsided in the favor of the Maroon team. As kicks it out. And Dabney, or make that hook. No foul, ball got stolen away.
I think he anticipated a foul call there, went ahead and acted like he was trying to shoot, but the referee felt like he got all ball.
There's Thomas. Goy goes back to work in the box and kicks it out. Thomas for 3, and State connects. That's just their second 3 of the day. 2 of 12, and Mississippi State's got its first lead of the second half.
Real good patience by Indoy on the inside. Didn't force a tough shot, and the assist came after that. He threw the ball out. There was one more pass and one more to Fred Thomas, and he finished a wide open look for 3.
They've had some good looks from 3, just haven't been able to get the shots to fall. Stark with the follow-up.
What quickness Stark has. He passed the ball to himself over the rim, got the rebound, and put it back in before anybody had a chance to recover.
You get an assist and a bucket on that?
He stuffs the stat sheet on one play. That was easy for me to say, wasn't it?
Rebound and a follow-up. Raquez Johnson. He's in double figures.
This thing's going down to the wire, Tim. What a fun basketball game to be a part of.
Really has been. Both teams looking for signature wins. Stark, jumper good. Jonathan Stark has taken this team on his back here in the second half. He's got 13.
That's about guarding individual play right there. And Coach Ray talked about it in practice. We've got to be able to guard their individual play, their one-on-one play. Got to guard our yard, keep the basketball in front of us. Credit Stark with a terrific move.
Ball blocked by Dabney. He does it all.
There's that man.
Back out to Stark. Stark from 17. Couldn't get it to fall.
Each team just doesn't want to stretch the lead out, it seems. They got opportunities to get it up to 5 or 6. Once Mississippi State got back in the game, it's going to be a puncher's game here for the rest of the last 4 minutes.
Trevante Blundell over to Daniels. He's going to be in the corner, and they're going to exhaust another timeout. You might say it's a good idea because it saves a possession, but they're really slim on timeouts. They have just one left now with 4:17 to go.
Now, there's a school of thought that if you use those timeouts, some people won't allow you to call them trying to save a possession or save a loose ball because you want those things down the stretch. When it becomes 2 or 3 minutes left to go in a basketball game and you have to come out and draw something up for a possession, you don't want those timeouts wasted. But that was more of a thing where Tulane forced that timeout. They forced him into making that play. Daniels felt like the only option he had was to call the timeout just to save the possession. So that was a product of panic as much as it was smart play as well.
Yeah, I can see it both ways without a doubt. So here we go, 4:17 to go. Tulane with a 1-point advantage here. But it is state basketball, and these two teams have been back and forth here in the last minute or so after State trailed for most of the second half.
State just came in with 3 fresh bodies here. It's going to be interesting to see if an offensive rebound is a key down the stretch right here. But you got to love what Rick Ray's done with this program here. You know, it's his 3rd season, first time he's able to play with a full complement of players, and just has a terrific demeanor with his teams. He's got the pedigree. He's building a winner in Starkville.
Trey Dry with the near steal. He does, and Mississippi State comes out of it. It's just a scrum. Alternating possession arrow goes to Tulane.
I mean, this is December, and these guys are playing like it's conference tournament championship time. They want this win badly. Tulane knows how important it is for the growth of their program, and Rick Ray with his young guys to go on the road and get their first true road win would be a benefit to their confidence as well.
And they're going to clean up the floor there as Tulane will have the big possession here. Wow, everybody was on the floor there.
You know, Jonathan Stark and Lewis Dabney haven't necessarily shot the ball well tonight, but they do so much for this Green Wave basketball team. They're so pivotal, whether it's a deflection or a creation or a rebound or a defensive stop. Those guys are irreplaceable for this Tulane Green Wave.
Pick set by Osetkowski. Opens up the look for Dry, didn't take it. Dry's really been working on his perimeter game. 13 on the shot clock here. And there's Dry for 3. Out of bounds. Possession, Mississippi State. Many in the arena don't like the call. We've got time to look at it. We'll take a break. State basketball down by a point.
It looked like that was out on Mississippi State to me. That's one of those ones where, you know what, I didn't call the over the back, so I'm going to let them have the ball. You know, like it used to be in pickup play.
Yeah.
I should have called that over the back, but I didn't. He's showing that replay.
I asked him for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Haven't seen it yet. Going to the arrow. Okay. Yes.
Tulane up by a point, 3:40 to go in this one. Right before we went to break, a little controversy on who touched the ball last.
Well, I think they ended up going to the monitor, and based on the jump ball, it goes back to Mississippi State. But it's a quick happening play here. It looks like it may be out on Fred Thomas here, but Jay Hook also gets his hand in there, so they ended up giving it to Mississippi State. The call was questioned. They convened, talked about it, ended up going to the arrow. The arrow favors Mississippi State, which could be crucial coming down the stretch. Tulane now has the next loose ball, or tie up.
Probably the best thing to do there. I mean, by looking at the replay, you really couldn't tell.
That's a cop-out.
But it could be huge.
Oh, and no question.
Thomas. Big possession here. It's a one-point ball game. Going back to work. Daniels, and he'll be fouled by Daphne.
I think they had their mind made up there. That ball was going to Daniels. He was attacking the paint. Once again, Coach Ray said last night, he's a guy that's got to come through for us. You know, he's a guy that's got to make plays. If you want to create offensive rebound opportunities for Gavin Ware, you can't go to him every time. Some other people have to make plays off the bounce when they're converging on Gavin Ware. Daniels attacks, gets to the free throw line, got to convert here.
Averaging 8 points a ball game. He's got 12 today, but misses on the free throw opportunity. And mentioned it earlier, he's a 53% free throw shooter.
That's surprising, and it's amazing across the country how many good three-point shooters and shooters in general can't go to the free throw line and make a free throw.
You don't have a hand in your face. You're just there on your own, and he connects on 1 of 2.
We're right back where we started about 37 minutes ago, so let's finish this thing strong.
3:10 to go. Henson. It has been a fight today. Hook goes to the goal, and Jay Hook lays it up and in.
Jay Hook said, "Who's a spot-up shooter? I attacked the rim. I got the ball to the goal. I'm a finisher."
He's got 14. Not taken, and it is good. Trevante Bloodman answers for Mississippi State.
Both teams trying to attack the paint here. There's going to be nothing easy. If it's a three, it's going to be a penetrating pitch for Tulane here. But everybody's wanting to get their shots, high percentage shots around the goal. Sign of good, well-coached teams.
2:20 to go. $15 on the shot clock here. Pick set by Osenkowski. Freeze open. Daphne! And oh my! He just scoops it up. It falls.
I'll have to see that one again. I'm not really sure the laws of Newton would take over right. I'm not sure what went down on that one, but let's take a look here. He does a terrific job attacking. That's our junkyard dog again. The ball goes loose and it just heads towards the rim and miraculously ends up in the bottom of the net. So it's going to look like a beautiful layup in the scorebook. But right now, Conroy calls a quick timeout to try to get a defensive substitution in here. It's a big defensive possession if you're Tulane right here. Mississippi State, I look for them to get the basketball in the paint once again. Maybe go to Gavin Ware to see if they can get to get a high percentage shot right here or get to the free throw line. But they continue to drive the basketball and be aggressive.
At times tonight, the rim has been unkind for both teams.
Well, Dabney decided not to touch the rim that time. So the shot never made contact with the rim. It just fell cleanly through the net. on probably the most beautifully executed layup of the evening, or afternoon, I should say.
Coach Conroy drew that play up.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Well, gotta love Lewis Dabney. He and Stark both want the ball in their hands late game situations. That's a sign of great leaders.
2 minutes to go. Buckle your seatbelt. We're in for a good one. Tulane by a bucket. Ludman, dribble drive, fouled. He'll go to the line. Now free throws will be huge here down the stretch. Ludman is very good from the line.
He went to the same thing they did last time. He got beat off. Stark got beat off the bounce last possession and did this possession as well. Ludman, a very, very good free throw shooter, to see if he can convert, tie this basketball game back up with a little less than 2 to go.
State 10 of 13 from the line today, and he misses.
You know, that's an interesting point that we talked about earlier, bringing the 4 off the line to talk to your coach or to have them back set defensively. But it also messes with your mind a little bit when you go to shoot, and the only people there are Tulane defenders. You know, so I got to think sometimes that gets into your head a little bit unless you're extremely used to it.
And he misses both. Those are 2 huge misses.
From an 86% free throw shooter.
Free throws have not gone well today for Mississippi State. Minute 33 to go. Stark run the offense here, work some clock.
This is where if you're Mississippi State, you've got to rely on your defensive principles here. Don't give up something easy.
That's a big turnover as Stark stepped on the baseline.
And credit Mississippi State's defense staying within their philosophy of how they want to stay in front of the basketball. Sent Stark deep. He was trying to look for a baseline drive to hit a baseline drift in the corner. He got his foot down the line here. We'll see it here underneath the baseline. Terrific call right there by Teddy Valentine all over the play.
Now they're going to roll it up the floor to keep the clock from starting.
I never understood that.
What did
I want to voice. No, why roll the ball? Why don't you just bounce it? You guys got to bend over and pick it up now. Why do we have to roll it? I never really understood that. It doesn't save any time rolling it, and it does bouncing it. It's crying out loud.
It is a round ball. Usually takes a true hop. Big stop. Tulane. A minute to go. Dabney with the rebound.
Well, they got the ball where they wanted. Had Gavin Ware on the block right there. All day long for Rick Ray, you'll take that percentage right there. Now it's 1 big offensive possession for Tulane and 1 big defensive stand for Mississippi State.
Stark. Just about everybody on their feet here at Devlin Fieldhouse. 10 on the shot clock. Time to get going.
Oh, it is. They got to make a play here. Have time for an offensive rebound. It's going to be a high flat ball screen for Dabney. Kick back out to Jay Hook.
Jay Hook for 3.
We got a full timeout here. We'll have a chance to take a look at this right here. But just a well-designed play. They brought Jay Hook up to set the back screen. Both defenders went with Dabney. They turned, kicked it back out to Jay Hook for the beautiful 3. Wonderful execution for the Green Wave.
You saw the shot clock expiring. There was 1 on the clock when it went in.
But once again, you go back to the execution and how it was set up. You know, usually in a half-court situation, you'll have a post player stepping up to set that screen and letting the guard go off of it. But anticipating a switch, anticipating a double team, Ed Conroy sets the screen at the top of the key with his best 3-point shooter. They both go with the drive. The kick back to a wide-open Jay Hook, who knocked down his 6th 3 on the evening, or 5th 3 on the evening, I believe.
17 for Jay Hook, the senior out of Waco, Texas. Well, here we go. 1 timeout remaining for each club as Coach Conroy used the timeout right there. Possession arrow belongs to Tulane. That could be big, as Mississippi State needs a possession here and then a quick foul or a quick turnover.
That goes back to that inbounds play we talked about earlier when they had to go to the jump ball, award the ball to Mississippi State. Well, all of a sudden, Tulane's got the jump ball now with 29 seconds left to go in the game. If you're Rick Ray, you need a quick basket and a timeout right here. You'll take the first good look at 2 that you can get to try to extend the game. You'll take a 3 if you can get it with a 5-point difference right here.
State has struggled from 3-point land, 2 of 12 on the afternoon.
Be interesting to see how we defeat if we just stay normal here in the half court. If you switch some ball screens, if you're Ed Conroy. But once again, you want to make sure you keep the ball out of the paint, make him beat you over the top. Don't let the offensive rebound be a play here.
Ludman, he found an opening and They avoiding him, no call yet. And finally, with 15 to go, the whistle.
We talk about the length. We talk about the length and the strength and the power of Mississippi State. Well, the point guard blocks the shot that saves the game right here. Jonathan Stark comes over, erases the shot. Then we're going back the other way with it. We're on the free throw line with a chance to extend this thing to a 6-point basketball game.
Well, with time expiring, you don't expect the 6-foot guard, point guard, to get the block. Big miss there. Mississippi State in a hurry. I.J. ready, couldn't get it to go. Can't get it to go again, and now a foul with 6 to go.
You know, when you go back and look over the course of this game, you're going to see a plethora of missed shots right around the rim for Mississippi State. You can go back even to the first half when they had opportunities around the rim that they just didn't finish. It wasn't a matter of taking bad shots. It's just not finishing around the cup on layups, on post-ups, you know, on their drives. They just didn't convert. Had a couple chances to get 3-point plays where they ended up having to go to the free throw line and shoot 2. But you're on the road, you've got to convert easy baskets on the road. Mississippi State hasn't done that today.
Figured Gavin Ware would have a big impact in this ball game. He's got 11 as he goes to the line here. 3 of 3 on the afternoon. Just can't get the shots. Trey Dry with the rebound, and he is fouled. Academic at this point, 4.7 to go. Going to take an awful lot now. Just not getting the drop. It's
going to take a lot, but I never would have thought I would have saw that shot Lewis Dabney made earlier either. So I'm not going to call it over. I've seen crazier things happen, but Trey Dry could completely shut the door with 2 free throws right here. So once again, let's go back and credit Tulane and their game preparation and the way they defended early in the first half. They made it a half-court game throughout the course of the game. They made some key threes, you know, as the game wore along. You got to be able to convert free throws down the stretch here, but I think, like you say, it's academic.
And here we go. State gets a shot off, no good. Tulane will get a signature win here this afternoon as they knock off SEC Mississippi State. And the Bulldogs will fall to 5-2. Tulane has won its 7th in a row.
What a fantastic performance by Tulane. You know, it's to meet a long athletic team like the Bulldogs that they brought in here today, who do have some young guys who are still learning their system. Ed Conroy's team was ultra prepared for this. They guarded the way they wanted to guard. They got the shots they wanted. They got their back doors. They got their threes. They got to the free throw line. Their assists led to their baskets, which is the big staple of their system. Credit Lou Dabney, our junkyard dog, with I think being the player of the game.
He was outstanding today. For Coach Houston Fancher, I'm Tim Grubb saying so long from Devlin Fieldhouse in New Orleans. Our final score this afternoon, Tulane knocking off Mississippi State 59-54. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to the WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.